الحمد للہ وکفا وسلام علی عبادہ الذین اصطفی اما بعد فاعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم قال اللہ تبارک و تعالی عز وجل فی محکم کتابہ المبین القرآن الحکیم بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم فلما بلغ معہ السعی قال یا بنی انی اری فی المنام انی اذبحک فانظر ماذا تری قال ستجدونی انشاءاللہ مع الصابرین صدق اللہ العظیم. قال رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وآلہ وسلم فی الحدیث باسانید صحیحہ الحسین منی وانا من الحسین صدق اللہ العظیم وصدق رسولہ النبی الکریم ونحن علی ذلک لمن الشاہدین والشاکرین والحمد للہ رب العالمین. اللہم صلی علی محمد وعلی آل محمد وبارک وسلم. Pearl, time streams and Hussein. Well, I've warned them it's going to be a very dry topic. But whoever was representing you was adamant that we should go along with that. I have 1 hour to do, and what I'm going to do is explain to you Mullah Sadra, Fakhruddin Iraqi, Muhyiddin Ibn al-Arabi, Einstein's theory of relativity, Hadith of the Prophet, and the ayat, 10 ayat of the Quran. And جب میں لیکچر دیتا ہوں تو اردو انگلش کا لحاظ نہیں کرتا پاکستان میں. So I hope you don't mind that. For some people the dialect can be difficult switching from Urdu to English, but if you know both the languages it's easier for me. کہ جہاں پر مجھے اردو میں سہل ہوگا وہاں پہ اردو میں چلا جاؤں گا, جہاں پہ انگریزی میں سہل ہوگا وہاں چلا جاؤں گا. So سورہ الصافات کی 10 آیتیں ہمیں ایک ایونٹ یاد دلاتی ہیں 10 ذو الحجہ کا, کہ جب ابراہیم علیہ السلام اپنے بیٹے اسماعیل کو لے کر ایک پہاڑی کی جانب جا رہے ہیں, اور غالباً 14 سے 15 سال کا سن ہے یا 12 سال کا جناب اسماعیل علیہ السلام کا, اور حضرت ابراہیم ان کو بچپن میں چھوڑ کر گئے تھے بواد غیر ذی زرع. حکم تھا کسی ایسی وادی میں چھوڑو جہاں پر زراعت نہ ہوتی ہو. اور جب دوبارہ حکم ہوا, اجازت ملی پروردگار سے کہ اب جا کے اس بچے کو دیکھو, تو قرآن very categorically, very vividly explains the scene. فلما بلغ معہ السعی, کہ جب اسماعیل اس قابل ہوا کہ دوڑ سکے اپنے باپ کے ساتھ, when he was just attaining the age of maturity. قال, تو ایک دن باپ نے بلایا اور بیٹے کو کہا, انی اری فی المنام, میں نے خواب میں دیکھا ہے. ارا کے لفظ کو آپ نے یاد رکھنا ہے, it is one of the mainstay of my speech. انی اری فی المنام انی اذبحک, میں نے دیکھا ہے خواب میں کہ تجھے ذبح کرتا ہوں. فانظر, میں نے یہ دیکھا. ماذا تری, تو کیا دیکھتا ہے. ترجمہ کیا جاتا ہے کہ تیرا کیا خیال ہے, but I am someone who likes to stick very closely to the original words of Hadith and Quran. That is my problem. کہ جو اعتبار پہلا میرے دل پر وارد ہوتا ہے, ترا کہتے ہیں تو نے دیکھا. So I would like to remain very very close to the original text. تو وہ کہہ رہے ہیں کہ میں نے انی اری فی المنام انی اذبحک فانظر ماذا تری, میں نے دیکھا کہ تجھے میں ذبح کرتا ہوں, تو نے کیا دیکھا. قال ستجد, قال یا ابت افعل ما تؤمر, اسماعیل نے والد سے کہا کہ جو حکم کیا گیا ہے وہ کر دیجئے. ستجدونی, آپ دیکھو گے بہت جلدی. سین عربی میں نیئر فیوچر کے لیے آتا ہے. ستجدونی, آپ دیکھو گے بہت جلدی. انی مع الصابرین, کہ میں ہوں صبر کرنے والوں میں سے. اور صبر کرنے والوں کے لیے جو پروردگار کا حکم ہے, ان اللہ مع الصابرین, اللہ صبر والوں کے ساتھ ہوتا ہے. اس کے بعد فلما اسلما, جب دونوں باپ بیٹا جھک گئے, when they surrendered to the will of the God. وَتَلَّهُ لِلْجَبِينَ, اب یہ تلّہ کا لفظ مترجم اس کو سکپ کرتے ہیں, لیکن سکپ کرنا نہیں چاہیے. تلّہ کہتے ہیں کسی چیز کو زبردستی اپنے دل پر جبر کر کے رکھنے کے. Of course, no father would like to butcher his own son. وَتَلَّهُ لِلْجَبِينَ, اور دل کو سخت کر کے ابراہیم نے ماتھے کے بل اسماعیل کو زمین پر لٹا دیا اور چھری پھیر دی. نادینہ ان یا ابراہیم، تو اس وقت ہم نے آواز دی اے ابراہیم بس کر. قد صدقت الرؤیا، تو نے اپنا خواب سچا کر دکھایا. کذالک نجزی المحسنین. And this is what we do to the beautiful people. محسنین کا ترجمہ اس سے بہتر نہیں ہو سکتا. اچھے کام کرنے والوں کے ساتھ ہم اسی طرح ہی اجر دیتے ہیں. اور پھر اللہ فرماتا ہے اِنَّا هَذَا لَهُ الْبَلَاءُ الْمُبِينُ، یہ بہت بڑا آزمائش تھی ابراہیم کے لیے. وَفَدَيْنَاهُ بِذِبْحٍ عَظِيمٍ، لیکن ہم نے ایک ذبح عظیم کو اس کا فدیہ قرار دیا. فدیہ عربی میں اس چیز کو کہتے ہیں جس کے بدلے میں کوئی بڑی چیز چھوڑ دی جائے. وَتَرَكْنَا عَلَيْهِ فِي الْآخِرِينَ، اور ہم نے اس کو چھوڑ دیا پچھلے والوں پر، بعد میں آنے والوں پر. I'm telling you, it might sound strange to you, this translation, but I am keeping very close to the original Arabic script. ترکنا، ہم نے چھوڑا، علیہ پر، فی الآخرین، جو بعد میں آئیں گے. سلام علی ابراہیم، اللہ فرماتا ہے سلام ہو ابراہیم پر. کذالک نجزی المحسنین، and this is how we bless the beautiful people. اب 3 لفظ اس میں آپ کو بہت غور سے سمجھنے ہیں. ایک، ستجدونی انشاءاللہ من الصابرین، آپ دیکھو گے کہ میں صبر کرنے والوں کے ساتھ ہوں. ان اللہ مع الصابرین، اللہ صبر کرنے والوں کے ساتھ ہے. دوسرا لفظ ارا، ماذا ترا، میں دیکھ رہا ہوں، تو کیا دیکھتا ہے. دس از ویری ویری امپورٹنٹ، دیز 2 words. اور اس کے بعد حدیث مبارکہ صحیح مسلم میں بھی ہے، بخاری میں بھی ہے، مشکات مصابیح میں بھی ہے، ہر کتاب میں آپ کو مل جائے گی. مناقب حسن و حسین میں الحسین منی، حسین مجھ سے ہے. ظاہر ہے it's very logical. I mean there is nothing difficult about this. نانا سے ہی نواسا ہوتا ہے، نانا سے بیٹی ہوگی اور بیٹی سے نواسا ہوگا. So that is very logical. But the second part is very strange. وَأَنَا مِنَ الْحُسَيْنِ، اور میں حسین میں سے ہوں. which is of course has been، جو مفسرین حدیث ہیں انہوں نے حاشیے میں یہی کہا کہ کیونکہ حسین نے اتنی بڑی قربانی دی تو اس لیے حضور نے فرمایا کہ حسین سے میں ہوں. یا جس طرح شاہ اجمیر نے فرمایا کہ بادشاہ ہست حسین، ہر کسی کو یہ شعر یاد ہے، شاہ ہست حسین، بادشاہ ہست حسین، دین ہست حسین، دین پناہ ہست حسین، سرداد نداد دست در دست یزید، حقہ کے بنا لا الہ ہست حسین. کہ حسین نے لا الہ الا اللہ کے لیے قربانی دی تو اس لیے حضور جو ہیں وہ کہہ رہے ہیں کہ میرا دین حسین سے چلے گا. لیکن آئی ایم ٹیلنگ یو مائی پرابلم از آئی اسٹے ویری کلوز ٹو دی اوریجنل ٹیکسٹ. اور اوریجنل ٹیکسٹ حدیث کا یہ کہہ رہا ہے کہ الحسین منی، حسین مجھ سے ہے، وانا من الحسین، اور میں حسین سے ہوں. ہاؤ ڈو وی ریکنسائل دیٹ؟ وی ہیو 2 frozen events in the past here. چھری چل رہی ہے اسماعیل کے گلے پر، فدیناہ بذبح عظیم، ترکناہ علیہ فی الآخرین، ہم اس کو چھوڑ رہے ہیں اگلے والوں پر، چھری نہیں چل رہی. اور ادھر حضور فرما رہے ہیں کہ الحسین منی وانا من الحسین، حسین مجھ سے ہے اور میں حسین سے ہوں. ہاؤ کین پروفٹ کم فرام حسین؟ دس از ویئر وی کم ٹو دس پیرلل ٹائم اسٹریمز اینڈ حسین. Very academic topic, very dry topic. I will try to make it as light as I can. اب اس میں آپ کو ایک سین اور فریز کرنا پڑے گا ذہن میں. اسماعیل کا چھری چلنے والا سین ہو گیا فریز، حزیر کی یہ سٹیٹمنٹ، حضور کی یہ سٹیٹمنٹ ہو گئی فریز کہ الحسین منی وانا من الحسین. Now the third scene is شہادت حسین، کہ جب آپ کے سینہ مبارک پر تیر لگتا ہے تو آپ ایک شعر کہتے ہیں، بسم اللہ و باللہ وفی سبیل اللہ وعلی ملت رسول اللہ. It's an epitome of Arabic poetry. It's something else. It's out of this world. If you know Arabic, you will know what I'm talking about. اس کی سج، اس کا ردم، اس کی placement of the words is just mind-boggling. It's nothing less than a revelation. بسم اللہ و باللہ، اللہ سے ہی شروع ہوا، اللہ کے نام سے ہی حسین کی زندگی شروع ہوئی. وباللہ ہے، اور حسین اللہ کے ساتھ ہی رہا. ان اللہ مع الصابرین، جو اسماعیل کہہ رہے ہیں. I mean, it might be coincidental, but what I'm trying to tell you is lots of coincidences give us the assurance that it's not a coincidence. This is what epistemology is all about. بسم اللہ وباللہ وفی سبیل اللہ. حسین اللہ کے نام سے شروع ہوا، ساری عمر اللہ کے ساتھ رہا، اور اب بھی اللہ کے راستے پر ہے. وَعَلَىٰ مِلَّةِ رسول اللہ ہے, اور رسول کے ملت کہتے ہیں سنت کو, عادت کو. قرآن میں حضور اکرم کو اللہ تعالیٰ کا حکم ہے ثُمَّ أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ اتَّبِعْ مِلَّةَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ حنیفہ. اے حبیب ہم آپ کو یہ وحی کرتے ہیں کہ آپ ابراہیم کی ملت, ابراہیم کے طریقے کی پیروی کریں. And the same thing is being said here by Hussein. بسم اللہ و باللہ وفی رسول, بسم اللہ و باللہ وفی سبیل اللہ وعلی ملت رسول اللہ ترکت خلقا ترعا فی ہواکا وعیتمت عیالی اراکا. These two words will tell you this is not a coincidence. ترکت الخلقہ, اے اللہ جس مخلوق میں تو نے مجھے بھیجا تھا, ترکت الخلقہ ترن. ترن means aviating, flying out with happiness, doing something by choice. ادھر ابراہیم کا تھا وَتَلَّاهُ لِلْجَبِينَ, دل سخت کر کے ابراہیم نے بیٹے کو لٹایا. اور ادھر حسین کہہ رہا ہے ترکت الخلق ترن, I'm leaving this مخلوق that you sent me in by choice, by free will. This will all come into, it will all make sense in the end when 1 hour is done. I hope we are done in 1 hour. ترکت الخلق ترا فی ہواکا, اے پروردگار تیری خواہش پر حسین اپنی خواہش سے اس مخلوق کو چھوڑ رہا ہے. وَأَيْتَمْتُ عَيَالِي أَرَاكَ, اور اپنے بچوں کو یتیم کر کے جا رہا ہے تاکہ تجھے دیکھ لے. ادھر کہہ رہے ہیں ابراہیم یا بنیا انی ارا فی المنام انی اذبحک فانظر ماذا تری, تو کیا دیکھتا ہے؟ ابراہیم کہتے ہیں کہ اللہ تعالیٰ میں صرف تجھے دیکھنے کی خاطر یہ سب کچھ چھوڑ رہا ہوں, اپنے بچوں کو یتیم کر رہا ہوں. دس از ناٹ میئر کوئنسیڈنس. 10 ذو الحجہ is the day when Ismail is to be sacrificed, اور next month is Muharram, اور 10 Muharram is the day Hussein is being sacrificed. وَتَرَكْنَا عَلَيْهِ فِي الْآخِرِينَ, ہم نے آگے آنے والوں کے لیے اس کو چھوڑ دیا. I'm staying very close to the text. میں کوئی اپنا ذہن استعمال نہیں کر رہا, میں امام حسین کے اشعار, حدیث مبارکہ, قرآن پاک. But how does it make sense? From a grandfather, a grandchild, it's an obvious logical thing. From a grandson, a grandfather. This is where we have to understand this. Parallel time streams. What is time? Time as a concept has intrigued theologians, philosophers, researchers, even politicians, and even religious scholars. It's a mystery. Time is a mystery. You know why time confuses us? We don't have a definition for time so far. It confuses us not because it is something very obscure. It confuses us because it is just so obvious. وہ عربی میں کہتے ہیں کہ بعض چیزیں شدت ظہور کی وجہ سے چھپ جاتی ہیں. Some things are so, اتنی عمومی سطح پر ان کی ظاہر ہوتی ہیں, شدت اتنی ہوتی ہے کہ انسان توجہ ہی نہیں کرتا. So time is one of those concepts which has confused us because of its clarity, not because of its obscurity. What is time? 2 questions need to be answered, in my view. First, is time subjective? It does not exist without us. Or 2, is time an objective reality? You have to bear with me for 20 minutes with this philosophical and physical jumbo mumbo. These 2 questions need to be answered. What is time? Well, is time master of everything? Of course. We live in this world today which is governed by speed and time limits. We have this fascination to do everything in time, to do everything fast. So we have our smartphones. Well, they are not very smart actually. But we have smartphones. We have our fast cars, sports cars. We have these jets. We want to do everything very quickly. And because we want to do everything very quickly, we have somehow lost sense of time. We don't have time to think about time. Because such a pause, if I pause to reflect about what time is, it will put me back. And I won't be able to complete the task at hand in time. This, our fascination with time and doing everything in time, it creates a sense of dislocation, a sense of alienation. a sense of bewilderment, a sense of slavery. So now, what is time? And I'm telling you, I'm not going to able to answer you completely this question because it requires a lot of effort and a lot of lectures. What I'm giving you is just a snapshot into Hussein's life, into this hadith, into these ayats of Quran through the concept of time. Well, our problem is that for us today, the definition of the time, the only acceptable definition of time is something that we measure by clock. It sounds pretty absurd, but actually it is not. It's absurd at one level and it's very correct at another level. Our problem is reductionism. For the last 100 years, we have been trying to reduce everything to mathematically measurable quantities. That is our problem of the modern age. That's why we haven't come into terms with understanding what time is. Well, what we have done so far is remarkable. We have reduced human beings to hyper-developed animals. We have reduced animals to complex arrangements of atoms. This is what we have been doing. Even consciousness have been reduced to a synaptic activity of the brain. Even emotions, something as qualitative, as personal as emotion, is nothing more than some pattern of brain. It results from the patterns of brains. And the patterns of brains results from the patterns of DNA. And the patterns of DNA result from the complex arrangement of atoms. So we have been reducing everything to measure it quantitatively. This is what we have done with the time. For us, you may have heard this notion, this term, linear time. We always talk about linear time. Time has two extensions. One extends into the future, one extends into the past. This is the two-tier dimension of time that we all know of. And you know, in human history of knowledge, one of our problem has been that we develop analogies to understand something and then we get trapped in those analogies. We are fascinating beings. We create analogies to make something understood, and then once we have understood that, we just stick to that analogy. Linear time. A time is not a line. A line is a line. We use this phrase linear time because it was convenient to make people understand what time is like. Time is like a stream, parallel streams. Time is like a stream. You are born into this world, you step into that stream. When you die, you step out of it. That's linear time. It's irreversible flow. What is gone, you can't go back. What is there to come, it will come. This is a linear time, the concept of linear time. Well, time is not that linear. And it used to be the classical view. Let me remind you, we don't have this view in physics anymore. But the problem is that the general perception, जो लोगों की अमूमी ज़हनियत है, वो अभी तक classical physics में फंसी हुई है. If you ask anyone, what is time and space? If he has read physics, he will tell you that these are not two realities. These are the two names of the same reality. Well, the classical model of the physics told us what? That space is kind of a container. It's fixed. It's unchanging, which holds objects. You can give an analogy of a billiard board, of a billiard table, where you have the billiard balls. Well, this table, that is space. And then these balls, when you hit a ball, it collides with another. So things change, the arrangement changes, but nothing changes in the table. So space was thought to be a fixed container, which does not change according to objects. And what was time? In the classical model, it was a measure of change. What is change? You have these 7-8 billiard balls and they have a specific arrangement and you see them. And then you see them again and now ball 8 that was with ball 1 is now with ball 9. So they have changed. So something has to happen for this ball to shift from here to here. The balls remain the same, but the arrangement has changed. So the thing that measured that change is time in classical model. It's not the model anymore. We still, in a common perception, we have that model, but it's gone. The paradigm shift came with Einstein's special theory of relativity that he expounded later in his general theory of relativity, where he showed through mathematical progression and mathematical formulations that there is nothing fixed in this universe. There is no fixed frame of reference. Even time is not fixed. Even space is not fixed. Space changes according to the objects it contains. And the time changes according to the speed of the objects they travel. Well, if I'm traveling closer to the speed of light, and if I travel outside this orbit of the Earth and I come back, well, from the Earth's frame of reference, many years would have passed. But from my frame of reference, time will be different. Well, you put a clock here on Earth and another in a shuttle, in a space shuttle, who is orbiting the Earth, the clock in the shuttle will tick slowly. Because when the speed is accelerated, time slows down. Hence the notion that the speed of light, 300,000 kilometers approximately, something that attains to that speed of light is eternal. Nothing will pass. So Einstein showed us one thing, that things are not fixed everywhere. Things change. Even time changes. Time bends. Space changes. Space bends. But our general perception, of course, remains the same. Well, but still, science sticks to linear time. No, that's another story. I'm not going into that. The problem is, what is time? What is space? Well, Einstein showed us they are intertwining realities. They are not two different things. Time is not something that is forced upon objects, and space is not something that is forced upon objects, but the objects are themselves creating space. And the objects are themselves creating time, because the faster they go, the slower the time becomes. And this is the same notion that Fakhruddin Iraqi gave us thousands of years back, when he gave the concept of uneven time. It's very difficult to grasp that concept right now because we are so governed by time. But according to Fakhruddin Iraqi, time was very subjective and it was uneven. For example, the quality of time in the morning is different than the quality of time in the evening. The speed of the time spent with my friends is different than the speed of time I spend with my wife. You see, it's all relative. It's all relative. Don't be so serious about this. I mean, I don't even understand it myself. So, if it is relative, there cannot be a uniform time in the whole of the universe. It depends on how fast an object is moving. The time is relative to that. That's Einsteinian special theory of relativity. But the problem is, what is time and space? He said they were intertwining realities. My question is whether space can exist without time, and can time exist without space? That is a very pertinent question we must ask. Now imagine a universe which has space but no time, and imagine a universe which has time but no space. Well, there are billiard balls on the table, and then they have changed the positions. Or let's see, bring it down to more understandable version. A cricket match, a bowler is bowling. You see, there is one snap that the ball is in the hand of the bowler, and then there is another snap that the ball is in the hand of the wicket keeper. If there is no time, how will that happen? Because time is the measure of change. It's impossible for the ball, because you see the ball remains the same in the hand of the bowler and in the hand of the wicket keeper, but its relation to the things around it has changed. And time is something that measures that change. So how can you have a space that is changing without time? It's impossible. And now how can you have a space without time? And how can you have a time without space? If there is nothing to measure time with, would we even know there is a time? We won't. So that's why Einstein was right when he said that it's an impossibility for time and space to be separate. They're intertwining realities, interdependent. Time and space will only be created when they are in connection. And of course, in relativity, the objects will define how fast they are going, what time is. So that brings us to the notion. And if somebody objects to that, well, they have all the right. If there is a physicist here or the student of physics here, they can object to what I'm saying. But let me tell you one thing, humbly, very humbly. I'm a religious scholar and not a physicist. But I would like to ask you one thing, that I do trust in mathematical measurements. Of course, I do. I have read physics. But let me tell you one thing, with our present notions of mass and gravity, everything should be flying apart. That's what it is. But it does not. Why it does not? Well, the physicists, they posit dark matter. How much dark matter is there? Well, listen to it. 98% of the universe is dark matter. Okay, 98% of the universe is dark matter. That's why the world is not falling apart. What is that dark matter? Well, the physicists would say, we don't know. Because you can't observe it. That's why it's a dark matter. Well, I'm sorry, sir, you call me religious. You're also quite religious. If I have to believe in something that I cannot observe and still believe there is 90% of the universe, and of course I do believe there is dark matter, and of course I do believe it's 98%, so we are not that irreligious anyways, whether we are physicists or we are moralists or we are religious scholars. So now, if you understand what I'm saying, what Einstein showed us, that there can be different time streams at the same time. It depends on how fast an object is moving. Like Quran says, in the same way, Tarja'ul malaika warruh ilayhi fi yawm. मलाइका और अरवा एक दिन में चढ़ती हैं अल्लाह के पास. काना बेकदरुहु खमसीना अलफ सना. And by your reckoning, it's 50,000 years. 50,000 साल जमीन के एक दिन के बराबर हैं. So that comes to parallel time streams. And that takes us to a very, very known figure in Islamic history, मीर तकी दामाद. मीर तकी दामाद. आपको पता है मीर तकी दामाद कौन है? In the history of human thought, there are three teachers. मुअल्लिम अव्वल Socrates, मुअल्लिम सानी Farabi, मुअल्लिम सलास. The third teacher is this guy I am mentioning, Mir Damad. And I'm really sorry, we have not paid attention to our heritage. He made this time-space theory so simple to understand how these time streams run. According to him, in the world you will find two things, the constants and the changing ones, mutaghayyarat and sawabit. Everybody knows there are things that change and there are things that remain the same. I have come to FC College after I think 15 years, but the ground is the same, buildings have changed. So in the world there are things that will change, they are called mutaghayyarat, and there are things who will remain the same and they are called sawabit. So according to Mir Damad, out of this relation, the changing and the non-changing and the constant, three relations are born. One is the relation between constant and the constant. The other relation is between the changing and the changing. And the third relation is between the constant and changing. It's very simple logic. If there are two things, they will have three relations. Constant with the constant, changing with the changing, and constant with the changing. So what is constant in this world? Well, according to Islamic theologians, time is not a constant. They never believed time was a constant. Because if you consider time a constant, well, you are committing shirk. In Kalam, those people who have studied the history of philosophy, Islamic philosophy, they understand that even in Quran, God says कि ये जो दहरिये हैं, दहर is zamana. And they used to say, Ma yukhliquna illa dahar. हमें कुछ हलाक नहीं करता माँ सिवाय जमाने के. So if you consider time a constant, it becomes godly. And when the only constant in the universe is God. So now Mir Damad is talking about the relationship of constant with the constant. What does it mean? It is the relationship of the God between His names. The names are constant and the God is constant. Asma-e Husna or Allah Ta'ala. Allah ka ilm jo hai, wo bhi constant hai. And then the second category is changing with the changing. That is us. Alam al-fasad wal-istahala. This is the place of generation and corruption. Here I have a 24 hours day. And then there is a third word, the intermediate word, where the constant meets the changing. That is called Dahar. These are the three layers of time in Quran. The first one, which is God's time, it is a non-time, it is eternal now, it is one moment, it cannot be separated by past and future, it is just one moment, it does not change. I will let you know how things happen there. It is called Sarmad. Then the second word, which is us, Alam-e-Fasad, Qawnul-Fasad, and then the intermediate word where the God's name interact with this word. That is the world of angels. And that world is not somewhere out there, it is here. If you read Quran, and this is one surah that everybody knows, and they will know what I am talking about. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr, wama adraka ma laylatul qadr, laylatul qadr khairum min alf shahr. एक कदर की रात 1000 महीनों से बड़ी है. खैर, I'm again sticking to the literal meanings. So even in this place where we live, time has different streams according to Quran. Well, and then there is timelessness also here. The preoccupation of the Muslim thinkers with time was not to understand time, but how to occupy it, how to transcend time. That was always the preoccupation of all the Sufis, starting from Hazrat Ali to Imam Hussain, and even for today. You have to become Abu al-Waqt. And how you become Abu al-Waqt? And now Mir Damad says that if you exercise tajreed, if you become mujarrad, if you're not dependent upon matter, like Aristotle said, a thing that does not have parts cannot be confined in time. It is impossible. So now we have these three layers, even in Quran. There is God, Sarmad, and there is no passing of time. So if there is no passing of time, how is the change possible in God's knowledge? Well, the knowledge of God doesn't change. Now coming back to the analogy of the cricket ball, the ball is in the hand of the bowler and then the ball is in the hand of the wicket keeper. But these both snaps are in the mind of God at the same moment, because there is no taqaddum or ta'khur in ilm ilahi. There is no beforeness or there is no afterness. So in God's knowledge, all things don't run as sequence, they stay parallel streams at one time. That is a very difficult concept to grasp, and I was telling the students it will be too heavy for people here, but they were insistent. So now, if you have parallel streams in the knowledge of God, how to get there? Because we are here confined temporally and spatially. If you look at us, we have fears and we have regrets. The fears, जिसको खौफ कहते हैं उर्दू में, it is for the future, and the regrets are for the past. What I have done in the past, I regret it, and what is bound to happen to me in the future, I fear it. खौफ होता है फ्यूचर के लिए और हुज़न होता है आपके पास्ट के लिए. और आयत वलायत में परवरदिगार यही फरमाता है, अला इन्ना औलिया अल्लाह ला खौफुन अलैहिम वला हुम यहज़नून. They don't have the fear of the future and they don't regret the past. If you keep close to the literal meaning of the text, it means that there is a way in which human beings can transcend time through hierarchical motions. And it's a very tough concept to grasp, and I will not take it today. It is just a snapshot I am telling you. Are we done?
5 minutes left.
Oh yeah. Okay. So now, I was not done, but it's okay. So now the question is, if it is a possibility that there can be a night in this place which can be longer than 1000 months, and there can be a realm of dahr in this world in which the 50,000 years of our time is just one day for them because they are traveling so fast. If it is a possibility, and if a wali can transcend both future and the past. So he's become a son of the moment. He has become son of the time. His time will not lapse. Now, when the knife is thrown on Ismail, وہ فدیہ کون دیتا ہے؟ ذبح عظیم. With the 10th Dhul Hijjah is the sacrifice of Ismail, and 10th of Muharram is the sacrifice of Hussein. It's a sequence, because we live in a sequential world. God gave us exactly the same analogies that we can understand. And Hussein is a transcendent figure. He is the one who exercises tajreed. So when جب چھری پھیری جا رہی ہے تو آپ کو کوئی فدیہ چاہیے, اور علماء مجھے بتاتے ہیں کہ وہ جنت سے مینڈا آیا تھا, وہ فدیہ تھا. Well, it's not a very good replacement, I'm sorry to say. Prophet's family is a much better replacement, and it makes much more sense. ترکنا علیہ فی الآخرین, ہم نے آخری لوگوں کے لیے چھوڑ دیا. Now, if you want to understand the hadith, it becomes very clear. الحسین منی و انا من الحسین, میں حسین سے ہوں. اگر حسین اس دن فدیے کے طور پر اپنے آپ کو پیش نہ کرتا تو اسماعیل کاٹا جاتا. اسماعیل کاٹا جاتا, بنو ہاشم نہ ہوتے. بنو ہاشم نہ ہوتے تو رسول دنیا میں تشریف نہ لاتے. الحسین منی و انا من الحسین. Hope I have been able to. It's a very complex model that I was trying to make you understand. The students, congratulations. If I were at your place, I would run away. It's not that easy to understand. But میں تو آپ کو ایک سنیپ شاٹ دینا چاہتا تھا کہ ہم حسین کو اگر ماڈرن ٹائمز میں سمجھنا چاہتے ہیں اور اس حدیث کو الحسین منی وانا من الحسین کو سمجھنا چاہتے ہیں تو we have to go through this complexity. بغیر علم کے اتنے بڑے عالم کو جس کا نام حسین ہے سمجھنا ممکن نہیں ہے. And this is what Karbala is. It's a parallel streams. Look, ہمارا وقت کا عجیب حال ہے کہ جو مستقبل ہے اس پر میرا کوئی اختیار نہیں, جو ماضی ہے اس پر میرا کوئی اختیار نہیں. And I think I live in the moment. Well, اشارہ بھی کر دو, اشارہ بھی نہیں کیا جا سکتا حال کی طرف. میں بھی کہتا ہوں یہ لمحہ ہے, وہ لمحہ گزر جائے گا. It's a very tricky concept. Time it's not such so easy to understand because it is so obvious. I'm experimenting it. So we have to share in the legacy of Karbala by exercising this tajreed and making ourselves believe that if humans like us can transcend time and go into the parallel streams and offer sacrifice, why cannot we sacrifice in just this one linear time? ہم اتنا تو کر سکتے ہیں نا. حسین کی طرح ہم اس ٹرانسینڈنس پہ پہنچ کر اسماعیل کو تو نہیں بچا سکتے, لیکن آپ کے ارد گرد جو مظلوم لوگ ہیں ان کو تو بچا سکتے ہو اس لینئر ٹائم کے اندر رہتے ہوئے.